That's amazing. That's wonderful. I said, oh, I guess I should take out a nice outfit today, and, not be rebellious and say, I'm wearing my jeans. So, but it's part of who I am. I'm very happy with my life and myself and about what I'm doing in the community alongside of many other people. I do everything. But the Center for Community Health and Well-Being has been around since 1991. And we're primarily a healthcare organization. We provide prenatal, well woman, and gynecological care to low-income women in Sacramento County. And we do that through 2 clinics. The Birthing Project Clinic, which is our main clinic, is located downtown here in Sacramento. And then we have a new satellite clinic that we opened in November of 2011, New Beginnings Birth and Wellness Center, so that we could expand the care to women that are in need. And we also have a Leadership and Empowerment Institute for Girls and Young Women. And, because we see so many young ladies with unplanned pregnancies, we feel it's our duty to be in the community working with these young ladies to realize their dreams and, what is it you want to do, and you really can do that. And a lot of them don't believe that they can. So all the, services that we provide are needed. A lot of people don't know that it exists, that it's available, so we're constantly doing that outreach in the community to let people know that we're here and we're here to help you. I've been with Center for Community Health and Well-Being since 2008, and before that I spent over 15 years in the financial industry in various positions, and so it was, other than having a daughter, I didn't know a lot about women's health, and so it was very much an education, and still is for me in terms of the work that I do. I'm executive director. We're a fairly small organization, so it requires wearing a lot of hats and just rolling up your sleeves and doing what needs to be done from, if I'm in the clinic and there's an overwhelming number of patients in the front area and I see that, the front desk staff is having a hard time, I'll jump in there and we just have a great time. It's a very warm and welcoming environment in our organization. I worked for a bank, and one of the last positions I had was with Wachovia Corporation, and as head of vice president of risk management of what was their student lending portfolio, Educate, it was called at that time. And I just got to a point, I'm going to just throw some personal stuff in there, that I really started to feel like I wasn't sure what my purpose was and what I was doing, and so I went through a period of feeling like, oh my goodness, what's the next big promotion, and when do I hit $100,000 salary, and going, wow, and then it just became less meaningful over time. And so I started to think about nonprofit sector and thought, well, maybe that's something that I want to do, is that I want to give back and I want to understand, what the challenges are in the community. And I will say that before coming into the nonprofit sector, after I came in, I realized how ignorant I was about the needs. So for example, when my first year, I think that was the year that it was the longest budget impasse that had happened in California. And when I saw the impact that that has on services, on organizations having to shut down because they can't handle not having 3 months worth of cash flow, I just thought, oh my goodness, like in some respects well, in many respects it's wonderful because you get to see the direct impact of the work you do, but it was also a wake-up call to me that I was not just going to come in and hold hands and we were going to sing Kumbaya and, great things were just going to happen. And it's like, oh my goodness, like this is a business. We owe it to our community to make sure that it's a sustainable business. And so how do you do that while maintaining and making it, in a sense, transparent to the clients that you serve in the community that this is still a warm and welcoming place, but all that stuff that's happening in the background is our commitment to you. You may not see it, but it's our responsibility to make sure that we are operating this like a business. And it's a different business model, right? But diversification of revenue, fundraising, grant funding, but it became very apparent after I came in that you cannot, even if you had funding from 5 years or 10 years from someone, you can't just think, oh my goodness, that's going to happen for another 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Priorities change for yourself, and they also change for organizations that may be supporting you. So it was a very interesting transition. What energizes me is, I had a manager when I first started in the financial industry say to me, Wendy, you don't have to know everything. So I moved within one particular organization or bank that I worked for. I moved to a lot of different positions, and one of them was managing fraud operations. And they hired me on skill because I didn't know anything about the different types of fraud and, inbound phones and how to use the system. And I became very frustrated with myself that when someone asked me a question that I could not answer it. I didn't have the technical knowledge to answer that question. And so one day, Art was his name, he said, Wendy, you don't have to know everything. You just have to surround yourself with people who can fill that void. So where you're weak, you have somebody that fills that strength. And so what energizes me is bringing together a team of people to move the best interests of the organization forward. So as an example, right now we are in the throes of putting together an application to expand our services to include primary care services and pediatric care in Sacramento. And it's applying for federal funding, and it's called a Federally Qualified Health Center. And so it's quite an intensive process, but which I don't know, I know more now, but when it started I thought, oh my goodness, what is this? And the forms, and so with government, it's a lot of different, things, and you have to have everything set a certain way. And I thought, I really need to bring people together who can help me get through this process and really feel like they're part of a team and they're contributing. So that's kind of a long answer for that's what energizes me, is being able to see a collective group of people coming together and some volunteers saying, Wendy, I want to help you go through this process, and being successful. That's what really energizes me. Wow, that's a loaded question. How do I define success? I define, for at least what I do, I define success as meeting the community needs. So what is it that the community is lacking? What are the assets that are in the community? And how can I fill that void while not duplicating services? Being able at every level to make sure that whether it's volunteers, staff, clients, board of directors, funders, that they all feel like they're part of this organization. And when you say community-based, that's what it means. This is the community's organization, which comprises of all of those individuals. And so when I look at success, it's being able to bring people together to feel like they were part of the solution of meeting the needs and assessing what the needs are in the community. And more importantly, I think being yourself. I dressed up for you today, but I'm rebellious. I wear jeans, right? So that's, you know, kind of my thing is that, you know, I show up and this is how I am, you know. If I'm getting the job done, that's great. But I think not losing yourself, whether you're in nonprofit work like I am or the healthcare industry, but whatever job that you're doing is being true to yourself and your values and what's important to you, not at the risk of, you know, sacrificing the organization. You still have to stay on point, but just not losing yourself in the process and maintaining good work-life balance, because that will help any individual stay strong for the long run, because it's tough work. It's long hours, but it's very rewarding. I love it. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. In fact, we had a meeting a couple of days ago with an organization in Elk Grove that has a continuation type school setting, and they were amazed at the services that we provide. So, you know, we're always out there in the community doing, whether it's, you know, nonprofit to nonprofit, or what they call business to business outreach, on the streets outreach where we're actually walking in the streets. We still come across people, and that's why I say there are people who don't know that our services exist. And I think that will always be the case, and that's the need for constant outreach and being able to articulate, like you said, you know, what is it that we do and how can we add value. So in this particular meeting, you know, they were asking about our services, and I said, well, you know, if you have young ladies that need care, we'll block off an afternoon for you, and you can bring them all in at one time, and we can take care of them right there. They're like, really? Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, sure. So it's really being flexible and thinking outside the box in terms of how you deliver care. We work with Loaves and Fishes, and who, you know, works and supports a lot of homeless men and women in Sacramento, and I think we've been working with them for almost a year now, and working to provide education, to provide information about resources, to do testing on site there, pregnancy testing, STD testing, and then being able to get people into care who might otherwise have just gone along, which has other impacts in terms of reproductive systems. I mean, if you don't really take care of issues right away. In working with them, we were able to, you know, identify 4 women that were pregnant and get them into care right away. And so that's kind of one of the things we want to do, timely and quality prenatal care. And so when you're talking about someone who's homeless and who doesn't have a home base, it makes it just that more difficult. So it's relationships like that, relationships that we are starting to establish with this particular school that we really value, and how can we really work together, especially in light of declining resources, to meet the community needs. They're awesome. I think I have one of the best staff ever. We have fun. I believe in a very supportive environment, and I always say uplifting other people. So how do you uplift people to help them do better in their jobs? So it's not just our patients, it's our staff. And I mean, what can I say? I think they're amazing. You know, some of our staff can understand firsthand the challenges that our clients have gone through. I've been a teen mom. You know, may have had significant financial challenges and had to rely on aid. And it's not an embarrassment. I mean, as long as you're trying to do better in your life, that's okay. I mean, that's what it's there for. And so we have a wonderful staff. And it's funny you pointed out to me that I'm using the word we, because that's just, I believe that it's really important. It's not about one person. It's about a community of people. I would say volunteer. Honestly, especially because of the job market that we're in now, to give yourself a competitive advantage, especially if you're changing careers, it's important to volunteer. I did not get into nonprofit the first time I applied. When I first applied, so there's a lot of people who transition from business into nonprofit, and when I interviewed for this particular organization, they said, well, you know what, if we had a business director, you would be perfect for that position. But, you know, because of our patients, and we need someone who understands what they're going through, so I didn't get selected for that. So, you know, I went through a couple of interviews, and actually for this particular organization, when I came in, I didn't come in as executive director. So although, yes, I made a six-figure salary in the financial industry, but when I came and I was offered an assistant job for $20 an hour, I was so excited. I called my husband and I thought he is going to be like, are you cuckoo? But I said, Scott, I'm so excited, this job, and I can get into the financial, I mean, not the financial, I can get into nonprofit. It seems like a wonderful organization, and it's $20 an hour. And he said, go for it. And so, not to say that everybody has to do that, but I think when you're looking at changing careers or getting into a career for the first time, you have to be realistic. You may come, you know, have a master's degree in the financial industry for 15 years, and, you know, I took an assistant job, and that's not for everybody, but you have to have some degree of flexibility in what you're looking to get into. And I would say that the best way to do that is to talk with people, volunteer your time. I will accept anyone who wants to come in and talk with me about my experience, take a tour of the organization. It gives you a feel for it. Is this really what you want to do? But you have to look at different types of organizations. So getting exposure, talking to people. The more you talk to people about what you do, the more someone will remember, oh my goodness, you know, Wendy said this to me, and I wonder if she'd be interested in that. The less people you talk to, the less opportunity you're going to have for that type of stuff to happen. Let me call her, because 6 months ago I remember she told me. So talk to people, get out there and make connections.
That's good. That's anything that you want to share with us that we didn't ask you?
Well, it's an honor to be here talking with you. It's an honor to be able to share the work that we do and to help in any way, even if it's just through this discussion, help other people.